Good evening, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's our vision to be the model school district where every learner is valued and empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society. And it's our mission to foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways for success. Mr. Moore is not with us this evening in the conflict. So, Mr. McDaniel, would you please call the roll?
I'd be honored. Carl Estelle. Absent. Daniel Gray.
Here.
Ava Coleman.
Here.
Jim Moore is absent. Ron McDaniel is present. Gina Tony.
Here.
Lauren Martin.
Here.
Laura Walker.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Y'all will join me as we stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right. Welcome, everybody. We've got a couple special presentations from pre-K and special ed. So, Dr. O, I'll let you call them on down.
Thank you. Dr. Walker is going to lead us off and introduce our principal and director.
Yeah, we're going to start off with pre-K with Dr. Johnson, and she's making her way forward. She was recently named as the early Arkansas professional for early childhood, so congratulations.
Congratulations. No, not that one. The slideshow.
Can we turn the mic
Oh,
on?
right here.
Is the microphone on?
Mr. Gary, is the mic on? Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm excited to share some of the data and some of the hard work that our pre-K staff have completed this past school year. The information I'm going to share with you is our foundational skills from pre-K Rise for the state. That is the new literacy curriculum that we are now doing in pre-K. We were piloted the first 2 years, and then this year we actually we are part of the curriculum. It began this particular school year, and so one of the areas that you can see here, we do data from the beginning of the year, the middle, and the end of the school year. And so what you're looking at is a chart that actually shows you the growth that our little scholars, our pre-K scholars, tiny titans, did for this school year. In the beginning of the year, with instructional vocabulary, and this is like first, last vocabulary. They started off at 46% when they came into us. By the middle of the year, they were at 62%, and then by the end of the school year, they ended with 70%. So we're proud to say that our babies will be going into our schools with at least knowing instructional vocabulary for 70% of our students who achieved and mastered that. So we are extremely proud of that. Our next category is chronological awareness, and this is like blending, segmenting, rhyming words, when you hear those things. They began with 1%. That's where our babies were. They didn't know hardly anything when they came into us. And then by the time we got to the middle of the year, which we do this data around January, they went up to 31%. So that was a big growth spurt, and so we were proud of that. And then 57% by the end of the school year. So we were definitely proud of that. Concepts of print. I'm actually shocked with this one because it ended up being the highest growth in the end. And concepts of print is where they begin reading, looking at the print and the pictures and knowing the differences between pictures and words. And so for them to grasp that concept and make so much growth was really, that is a celebration. But they started with, as you can see, 46%, went up to 68% by the middle of the year, and then by the end at 82%. And then, of course, upper and lowercase letters, that's where they identify the letters. You can see the growth there with 36% for uppercase, 26% for lower, and then by the middle, it was 48%, 32%, and then by the end of the school year, it was 68% knew their uppercase letters and 62% knew their lowercase letters. And then our last category was letter sounds, and this is probably one of the hardest for them because this kind of goes into the kindergarten standards, and so they would really focus on that when they get in kindergarten. But they started off again with 1% only knowing anything about the sounds of letters, and then by the middle of the year, 16%, and by the end, 39%. So that's where they first at. And just showing the overall growth between the beginning of the year and the end of the year. With that instructional vocabulary, like at beginning, next, end, last, those kind of terms, they made 24% growth. With phonological awareness, they made 56% growth. Concepts of print, 36% growth. With their uppercase letters, 32% of growth. And with lowercase letters, 36% growth. And then with their letter sounds, 38% growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Some of our celebrations is that our scholars actually made growth in all areas of literacy, so we are proud of that. We know that we are the introduction to them getting ready for kindergarten, and so I mentioned to the principals earlier, the elementary principals, that I want to know the difference between when our babies come from Jacksonville pre-K from somewhere else, and I want to make sure that our babies are ready. Some other celebrations that we had 4 pre-K staff who received their pre-K license this year and were classified. I want to add classified staff who received their license. So we were very, very proud of that as well. We had 10 staff members who received scholarships with the P program. And this is the program that we've been on for the last 2 years as well. And it's where 95% of their tuition is paid. And then we pay the other 10%. And so we are very, very proud of our staff for holding on and sticking to that and accomplishing their professional goals as well. As Dr. Walker mentioned, I was excited and surprised that receiving the Arkansas Outstanding Early Childhood Professional of the Year for the state. And then I was also selected this year as a board member for the Arkansas Early Childhood Association. So those were some celebrations for me. And then for Homer Adams as a whole, we moved up a level. We are so excited. We started as a level 3, and so now as a pre-K as a whole in the district, and now to move up a level, which was very, very exciting. So now we are a level 4-star school, and we are very, very proud of that. With Better Beginnings, we also received a $5,000 grant for that growth and that increase. Also pre-K, we provided this year for the move for our pre-K scholars at Alameda. We contributed to $18,000. We contributed to their furniture to help them move with their new building as well, because they did not come with the elementary move cost. So we wanted to provide and support them as well. And then our other exciting thing that happened this school year was that our third annual pre-K prom was featured on the news channel this year. We were excited about that.
Any questions? Great job. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Okay, for special education, I've got a slightly different kind of presentation for you. Inclusive practices is the hot topic, and I know a lot of people get confused that that means all special education kids. We've done away with resource classes, and that's not the case. It just means that all of our special education scholars must be educated in English and math by a Gen Ed certified teacher, and we still provide support. So this chart right here shows in 24-25 where we should be. That means all 7th grade scholars and below should receive their instruction by a Gen Ed teacher. But in Jacksonville, we are actually 2 years ahead of that. We're already 9th grade in the way. And I attribute that to all the initiatives that we've done in the last couple of years. This honeycomb shows you what we've done and we've completed and the new initiatives that we've taken on. It looks like a lot, but we're able to do this with the team that we have. This year we're focusing on some co-teaching projects that we've been lucky enough to get into with Boundless Learning, and we are starting a transition partnership thanks to the help of the kids. We are going to actually do transition with our more involved scholars so that they enter the workforce at the end of their senior year. They're going to be working through their senior year out in the workforce, not just in the high school, but they're going to be entering different workforces out in the community. We are doing a vendor partnership with Building Bridges out of Paddock. So we're very excited about that, and we've been asked to do some other partnerships to join in that. So I'm very excited about that. You can see all of those. You can read through those. If you have any questions about any of those, I'm happy to answer them. We've been very, very busy in the special education department. This slide I'm very excited about. Our whole goal is to have the only scholars in the district that are in a self-contained program be those that are on the alternate assessment. If you are not on the alternate assessment, you are in Gen Ed. So if you look, each one of our elementary schools, 80% or more of our scholars are in Gen Ed. The only scholars that are not are those that are on the alternate assessment. We have a few homebound scholars, and most of those are because they're medically fragile, or they have severe behaviors, and we're working them back into the Gen Ed setting. So those are some numbers: 83% at Viamita, 82% at Lester, 81% at Taylor, 84% at Jacksonville Elementary, 84% at the middle school. The only reason that Jacksonville High School is not there is because we just started full recruiting at the high school this year. So those are numbers to be very proud of. Our celebration, the reason I'm not showing you data on test scores, I pulled the May board meeting and the June board meeting by Anita and Taylor scores, because if you look, their growth, that includes your special ed science. So there was no reason for me to go through and pull special ed data. Those are your special ed scholars making growth right along with your general ed scholars. They're out there, they're in Gen Ed, and they're growing. Some of my special ed scholars are growing at greater growth than some of the Gen Ed scholars, because they're out there, they're getting the instruction that they've needed all along. I mean, there's nothing else to say, but if you teach them, they will grow. So, and the only other, I'm not going to really toot my horn, but I do represent Jacksonville at the encouragement of Dr. Ola. I tried to avoid it for a year. But I do serve as the Area 9 representative for the Arkansas Association of Special Education Administrators. And I'm just reelected to continue, so I've got at least 2 more years on that board, so I do that afterwards, sometimes during work. But I do serve on that board to represent, because when I told Dr. O about it, he said, "Why wouldn't you?" And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." We've had a tremendous staff recruitment and staying this year. We really didn't lose anybody. I lost one to another district. I lost some to be stay-at-home moms. I lost some to the Little Rock Air Force Base they moved. I was really sad about that. And before this morning, I had no positions open. So now I have one. So if you know anybody, I'm heavily recruiting for one more special ed teacher for some of my most of their babies. So if you know anybody, send them my way. But we're really doing good in the special education department.
Questions? Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, well, we've got a legal update. I see Mr. Richardson is with us this evening. There he is. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Very good.
We brought handouts. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint.
It's okay.
My main legal update is we filed our status report due to the federal court in the desegregation case July 1. But this year, instead of just a status report, we filed a motion for unitary status and the status report saying we were required to build buildings, and we built most all of them. The two that are left are almost done, so it's time for us to be fully released from the state. The interview response, if we do 14 days from the first to 15, so sometime next week, and I expect success on it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward and simple. So I brought copies of the motion and for you to see it. That's my main legal update.
Any questions for Scott? Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate how you represent us, and hopefully we draw this case to a close.
Feel good about our case. Pretty hard to dispute that the district has built some excellent buildings.
Proof, yeah, we've got some proof. Speaking of, why don't we got the facilities update next on our agenda. Let's see some. Yeah. Mr. Roger. Michael's gonna sit back there and just hang out.
Start off with Merle Taylor. There's a sense of completion is July 23rd. We're looking pretty good on track on that. We've done all their inspections the week of the 16th. Owner training for the end of this month. Big attack loose prep, we're getting that plan organized, palletized. It's going to be the week of the 29th. After 5 tunnels. Areas 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they've got their punch list complete. They've got a punch list listed, and they're getting the stuff complete. So that'll all be done next week. Concrete classrooms on 7 and 9. That should be in tomorrow. Punch list for the remaining classroom will be done by the 13th. On-site progressions for the landscaping, irrigation, the top of the flat road, paving installed, complete, fencing is in progress. We just got a few items to take care of, with punch list 9, get all the inspections done, so according to our reports, and this time we're tracking the questions on Merle Taylor.
When are our open houses usually for the parents and normal school?
They're normally in August.
Yes,
That's
and
why.
those days have been set. I've shared them with Mrs. Williams, and we'll be posting those things.
The majority of them are August 15th.
Okay.
I have a question on my superintendent's report to ask you all about the actual official opening for the 2 new buildings. We'll need to decide on that.
We're looking at ribbon cutting, I believe.
Ribbon cutting.
We have a date nailed down for those.
We'll have to look at some calendars and get that.
There's more time, the merrier it is to make it as big and nice as possible.
Gotcha.
So we can know that it's
We
We're gonna do them the same day, right?
We were actually, some of the discussion at the district office, one had them separate days so that both can get their actual recognition. And the second thing was to do it after school starts. That way teachers are moved in and the buildings are nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sounds good. in August.
First of September, something like that.
When's,
We'll pencil some stuff, like, kind of get ourselves prepped for, do some plans for that. And by meeting, we're in pretty good shape as well. Our defense completion is July 18th. So we're, tomorrow or Wednesday, we're getting our hood tested, fire and all our kitchen equipment. We'll have health inspection on the 16th. The MEPs are all looking to line up their state inspections or punch list for areas 1, 2, 3 and done, except for MEP and 1 and 2. The team meeting will be on back tomorrow to do that, so we're actually working through punch list. We're still actively working on fencing, siding, landscaping. We did get the concrete in the soil. The last section of it was poured today. So our worry with that is pretty well over with. We'll see what this rain does to us, and we'll figure out if we want to have that whether blockade or swell. So it's marked up because we still had it chip down, but it's not as big as it was. So keep a real close eye on that. We're moving pretty good to be completed by 18.
very good.
Any questions on me?
Good.
And we're still watering grass. Good Lord's gonna take care of that tomorrow. We're on it that way on the airport place sign off in the demo guy.
What about demo on, are you talking about North Pulaski? What about Warren Dupree? Is that us? Okay.
But we said that they were gonna do the hydro seed today, but we delayed it because of the weather. But the grading and everything is done.
Looks real good.
I believe the legacy walk is complete.
Mhm.
Get all that. Any questions on that?
I forgot about it. Go look at it.
That's on my list to talk to you.
Any other questions, Roger? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Well, good evening.
All right, well, that takes us into superintendent's report. Dr. Ola, I'll let you share with us.
Thank you. Two things that are not on your report. Mr. Roger actually stole my thunder, but the Legacy Walk start finalize the date for the first recognition. So whenever you all would like that to be, and then the actual ribbon cutting when the board would like to schedule that day. So those are two things that are outstanding.
You said Labor Day was the first, I think it's the second.
Mhm.
So I would suggest for the ribbon cutting to do it the week after that. You got plenty of time.
And if we could, what we did with the groundbreaking, we did one on a Tuesday and the other one on a Thursday. And so we could plan.
Give them time.
Yes, sir. So that would be the 10th and the 12th of September.
Sounds good to me.
Historically, we were at about 10 a.m. So
And I would suggest the legacy walk to be after both of those,
okay.
not before.
So we'll send out calendar invites to you all and work on invitations. 10 a.m. for open house. And then we can decide on legacy walkway too.
So we decided on how we're going to select the nominees for the Legacy Walk? Or have we just,
I thought we did that already.
everybody that submitted?
We scored them, but we don't know if there's a
Exactly.
certain number that needs to be qualified.
And we talked about we call it a number that they scored to be considered.
Yeah, I think you had a recommendation, didn't you?
Yes, so it was 100 or above to be considered. And then anyone that
Form of a motion.
did not, you want me to put that in
Is that a
form of
form of motion?
Yeah, put in form of motion. Anyone that doesn't receive 100 can resubmit as many times as
Yeah, anybody can nominate anybody at any time.
anytime. So, and then after we decide on the number, do we
You just made a
have
motion
to
of
revote? We have to vote.
Well, we consider those on a quarterly basis, if I remember right.
That's correct.
Okay.
They would be considered if they're submitted. And 100 is your minimum score. And I don't have the scoring sheet in front of me, but I remember going through that. It seemed like
So is that gonna be the standard number for consideration? I mean,
Is there a second on it? A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? 100 it is.
Or above?
Or greater than.
Appreciate that motion because that gives us time to do more research on the narrative so we can work on the narratives and present those to y'all before we get the actual plaques made for the money. So we'll start working on that.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
And the next item that is on your agenda is the boundary survey. We did for the Warren Dupree property. Right now, it's zoned for residential property, but we've gotten both some type of unofficial interest from both types of parties, both residential and commercial. And so we wanted to give you all, the board, additional options. And so what you have in your packet is a rezoning that Bond did for us as commercial property. And so that's before you now.
Well, this is just
The
a survey,
survey.
and it's
Yeah.
just showing us what we got. And we got 10 acres, pretty much square, right there. And that road in front is the new road going into the side of Walmart, and the overpass for Gregory will pretty much end right there. So, I mean, it's a significant difference with what's happening with the highway expansion. You know, my personal opinion is that that's a great area for commercial development. Everybody that's always talked to me about Warren Dupree. What are y'all gonna do with it? Might be a great spot for retail or shopping, grocery store, something like that. And I know we've talked about it here. We don't really have a need for it right now, but we also don't have a need to just get rid of it either. And going through the process with the old ballpark in North Pulaski, you know, I'm thinking we probably need to get it appraised. And my personal opinion is that we need to try to get the highest and best use value for that land, whether we keep it or whether we sell it, and put it into the building fund. And obviously commercial is going to be more valuable than residential. And I think if we're going to ask for an appraisal and sell it in the future, then I think we probably ought to, it probably behooves us to request it for rezoning with the city before we do anything. So I was going to see if the board didn't have any objection, I'd like to submit it to the city of Jacksonville to see if we can't get it zoned commercial. I've kind of had some brief discussions with Mayor Elmore and economic developer director, Mr. Birch. I think they concur. So, any thoughts? And it takes a month or 2 months just to get the notices out and do it. So we're not in a hurry. So, do you need a just directive from us to begin that process?
Yes. Right now, just directed to explore that process.
For commercial use only?
Well, just to rezone it, and then if we decide to sell it, then it would be sold as commercial versus residential, which should be more valuable.
And actually, we do need a motion.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Get a motion and a second to request the rezoning of that property to the Jacksonville Planning Commission. All right. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously.
Are we gonna go ahead and get the phrase, or we're waiting, we need to wait for the
We need to wait for it to be rezoned before we request it.
And the last item is I have someone I would like to bring to the podium, Mr. Perry, Representative Perry. He and I met about a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago, about the Capstone Plus program. And so he wanted to just provide a brief overview of it, and then hopefully if there's some interest from the board, we could actually have a work session to talk more in depth about it. President Perry.
Thank you, Dr. O and the board. What I've got is an exciting new program, Capstone Health and Wellness Program. It's a tax efficient health and wellness plan. So it's actually, we're able to offer a program to employees without interrupting their other health insurance or supplemental benefits they have, and allow us to do it on a tax efficient manner. So it actually is a net savings, increased savings to the staff, employees, and a savings to the employer on an average of anywhere from $400 to $500 per employee. So, actually had a chance to use it this weekend.
So we want to talk about doing a work session to discuss it further, or?
So he can go, and I think you would want to see the presentation and be able to ask questions, and so we would need longer than the time
Does anybody have any objections to that? I don't think there are any, so we just need to try to coordinate it.
Yes, I'll get with Representative Perry and then poll you all via email to find a perfect time.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, got PPC report.
And I will tell you, as Ms. Davis comes, the only two, you all have already approved the first four, and so the last two are, Mrs. Davis will discuss the next steps for the procedures for hiring substitutes, and then Dr. Walker is going to present on the calendar FY 24-25. So we'll have our classified PPC. Mr. Lawrence and Ms. Johnson.
Hello, board.
Good evening.
Yes. When we came the last time, we wanted a procedure for hiring subs. We talked about that in length. And we with the directors, and we all came up with what you have in your packet, the procedure for hiring subs. And it's for the following positions: the bus drivers, the aides, cafeteria workers, and the custodians. All candidates, I'm just gonna give you a brief. All candidates must follow district policy and apply for the positions. And during the interview, before when they're called for the interview, they will let them know that this is a sub position. Instead of them coming in thinking they're gonna get hired. And we all agreed that they're gonna keep a spreadsheet, that would be Ms. Logan, is gonna keep a spreadsheet of everybody's hire date as a sub. And as jobs come open, the person that was hired first as a sub will have the opportunity to get that job instead of them just picking and choosing and having people sitting around waiting for 60, 90 or more days. And they also made a form so that the sub could acknowledge that they understand how this process is going to work. And we thought it was a good process. And we would like for the board to consider adopting this instead of the probationary period that we had prior to.
So the presentation that Ms. Donna just presented to you will go in addition to that policy. So we will add it to the existing policy as a point A or B policy to what we have in the board policy book.
So the administration and the PPC in agreement on the proposal.
They are.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve as presented. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Dr. Walker, let's talk about vacation. Christmas vacation.
I've got the calendar. I think the vacation, the vacation days, I think that was classified, but we can talk about it certified.
I'm just kidding.
Joke.
I was talking about your calendar vacation, Christmas vacation.
Okay, Christmas, I'm thinking vacation days, but you will get something from certified on vacation days and carryover. I want you to know that. That's where my mind was going. But on the calendar, after consulting with the high school, and the speech you can chime in if needed, in order to meet the accreditation for our hours for credit courses at the high school, we realized that we didn't have enough days in our first semester, and we had more days in our second semester. So what we had to do was go back and alter first semester by 4 days. It does not interfere with the beginning or end of the school. It's just extending that December 20th semester break. It will not end until December. And we picked up those 4 days, and it will go from September 7th, and it will end that second semester on the 10th. And that will put us in compliance with accreditation for the amount of minutes we would need for accreditation for those credit courses. Any questions?
And Dr. Walker did present this to the licensed CPC as law requires, and it's before you all because it's a change in the previous calendar that you approved, and so that's the reason why you're seeing it tonight.
And you should have a copy of the number of participants that of the grant.
88.4 to 11.6 again. All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion and a second to approve the revised calendar for 24-25. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, next item we've got is our consent agenda. In that consent agenda, there are minutes of the June 3rd, 24 regular meeting, the June 12th special board meeting, our assistant superintendent's reports, and the financial report. Is there anything that needs to be pulled down for discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve as presented in the package.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item we have is our handbook revisions.
Yes, this is the second month that we have this before you, and so we're recommending approval of the handbook revisions for the FY25 school year. It did come from the committee, a committee of individuals who met and discussed the proposals and, of course, aligned those with state legislation to make sure that we are in compliance. And so the recommendation is to approve these revisions for this school year's handbook.
All right. Any questions on any of those revisions? Mr. Moore?
Mr. Moore.
Not here. No paper clip?
Make a motion, we approve the superintendent's recommendation for handbook revisions.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Very good. All right, FY24 end of year transfer to building fund.
This is just FY for your information, for informational purposes only. Just as we do each year, want to provide a report to you how we ended the school year. Of course, based on the previous board resolution, we are ending in the operating 2.5 million with a transfer of a little over 1.7 million to the building fund. Currently, we sit at approximately 15.9 million in the building fund. That will take us into completing our 2 building projects. Food service continues to operate in the black, which is great, with a total balance of $736,000, giving us a total cash balance of $22.8 million as we end the FY24 school year.
Sounds good. All right. We need a motion on that.
No, that's just for information.
Next item we've got is the removal of a 2005 Chevy Impala from inventory.
I didn't want to buy that.
No, you don't.
As
There's been some attendees in there that make camp, so.
As with all of our inventory items, based on state law, we have to come before the board to ask the removal of these items. It's a 2005 Impala that was donated to us from the Jacksonville Police Department for the use, security use. Security hasn't used it in over 2 years, and so the vehicle is not operable, and so we're asking that the board approve us removing this from our inventory.
Do I hear a motion? Motion and a second to remove the 05 Impala. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Bus motor replacement.
Yes, one of our buses has a blown engine, and the motor needs to be replaced so it may remain as a route bus and be used for the 24-25 school year. And so we're asking board approval to purchase this item, the motor, and the amount of $28,155.08. We will use the enhanced transportation funding that we receive from the state. So the recommendation is to approve this purchase.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All the bids are in the packet.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. 14 passenger non-CDL bus purchase.
Yes, and those bids are also in the packet, and so we're asking for board approval to purchase this 14-passenger non-CDL bus. Of course, that will also come out of the enhanced transportation fund as well that we received from the State Department. Recommendation is to approve.
So moved.
All right, got a motion and a second. Buses are expensive.
They are.
All right, any other discussion, questions? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, legal transfer requests.
So we have 13 legal requests for you, some out of the district, some in the district. I'm not sure if you want to handle them. We're not opposing all of them, so the recommendation is to approve all legal transfers that are before you.
All right,
So moved.
motion and a second. Any questions on any of those? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Does anybody here want to speak to, for, or against those transfers? After we voted to approve them? Okay, that's good. Next item we've got is personnel, and we've got a addendum before us. I would entertain a motion to approve adding the addendum to the agenda under personnel.
So moved.
A motion and a second to add the addendum to the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that has been added. Now we've got the personnel report before us as amended. Any discussion on personnel will need to be held in executive session, and I believe there are a few questions that need to be discussed. So we will move into executive session without objection. Okay, thank you.
Want to hold on to these till we get back?
What'd you say? I did actually. I got it to go.